Tonight, frustration and uncertainty building around parts of Georgia and its new abortion law just 48 hours after it took effect.
Abortion is now illegal after 6 weeks once fetal cardiac activity is detected. And under the new law, the fetus is now a legal person in Georgia with the same rights as a living, breathing child. And that's where the legal confusion is developing.
CBS 46's Crystal Bowie is live at the state capitol with more on this part of the story. Crystal, good evening.
Good evening. So it is that idea of personhood that's raising a lot of questions on whether or not people are going to be able to file their taxes differently, get in the carpool lane differently, or claim different government subsidies. This is all having people ask how the government will handle the legal logistics of it all. Democratic State Senator Elena Parent says there are still too many questions on how to implement Georgia's heartbeat law, like whether or not a pregnant woman can now get public assistance payments even before she gives birth.
What will the situation be with welfare, right? Or other sorts of government programs that look at, your income and the number of people in your household. I assume that now the fetus will count as an additional person for those calculations.
As for whether the law means a pregnant woman driving alone can use the HOV lane, for now, the state public safety site says not so fast. It requires the rider to be a, quote, not pre-infant person. And questions about taxes. This is what the law says, quote, relating to income taxes so as to provide that an unborn child with a detectable human heartbeat is a dependent minor for income tax purposes. That would mean expectant parents can now claim hundreds of dollars, depending on the income, on their 2022 state taxes.
Even though they wouldn't be likely to do so for the purposes of the federal tax code. Typically, of course, people fill out the same forms, and so Georgia might have to, if it means what it says in this law, it's going to have to figure out how to administer that.
We took some of these questions to Emory University law professor Fred Smith. He says it's not clear whether you'd have to provide proof, if anything, to get the child tax credit.
The law isn't really clear about how one would administer this. And so, yes, will they require documentation? The questions, there's so many of them, right, that we could really almost spend the day thinking about hypotheticals.
Another thing we discussed is that a part of this law, Georgia says it's going to count unborn children as part of its overall population. This does conflict against federal regulations, so they're also going to need to sort that out. I also did reach out to the Georgia Department of Revenue to ask them about how they're going to be handling the different tax system. They said they'll release more information soon, but they didn't tell us when. Reporting live in Atlanta tonight, Crystal Bowie, CBS 46 News.